Lauren's phone lit up on the nightstand, vibrating just enough to rattle her half-empty water bottle. She rubbed her eyes, thinking maybe Owen had texted her something sweet before bed. But when she swiped the screen, the words staring back at her were anything but romantic. "You think you can hide, Lauren? We see everything you do." Her heart skipped. The number was unknown. No contact name. No photo. Just a faceless string of digits. Within seconds, another message. "He's cheating on you. With more than one girl." And then another. "You'll never be enough." That was the moment the story began, a story that would rip apart a small Michigan town, drag high school students into suspicion and fear, and eventually reveal one of the most shocking betrayals imaginable. Who was tormenting a teenage girl? A jealous classmate? A secret enemy? Or someone even closer than anyone dared to think? Small-town America. Beale City, Michigan. Population just over 300. A place where everybody knows everybody, where Friday night football isn't just a game, it's the heartbeat of the town. Church on Sundays, bonfires on weekends, and the kind of main street where the diner waitress knows your order before you sit down. In a place like Beale City, secrets don't stay secret for long. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. Lauryn Licari wasn't the kind of girl who drew enemies. She was bubbly, athletic, the kind of teen who filled her Instagram with group selfies, late-night milkshake runs, and inside jokes about her friends. She had a steady boyfriend, Owen McKenney, a clean-cut high school kid who worked part-time at the gas station and played ball in the fall. From the outside, it looked like the perfect small-town teenage life. Until the texts began. The harassment begins. The first night, Lauren tried to laugh it off. Probably just somebody playing around, she told Owen. But deep down, she knew it didn't feel like a joke. The messages kept coming. Day after day. Week after week. "You're disgusting. Everyone's talking about you. Owen isn't loyal. He's with Chloe. He's with Megan. Don't believe what he tells you." It wasn't just the words. It was the precision. Whoever was texting new details, what Lauren wore to school that day, where she and Owen had sat at lunch, even when her math test was scheduled. That's what made it terrifying. This wasn't some random troll. This was someone close. Someone watching. Fear spreads. It didn't take long for whispers to spread across Beale City High. Girls glanced sideways at Lauren in the hall. Owen started getting looks from teammates. By October 2020, the texts weren't just insults. They were threats. "You'll regret what you've done. We won't stop until everyone sees the truth." Lauren's grades started slipping. She quit hanging out after school. Every time her phone buzzed, her stomach dropped. Owen, too, was getting texts, some accusing, some humiliating, all anonymous. It felt like being stalked, but digitally. There was no face to confront, no door to slam shut. Just endless numbers, endless words. Parents and panic. Like any American teenager, Lauren eventually turned to the one person she trusted most, her mom, Kendra Licari. Kendra wasn't just a mom, she was also a basketball coach at the school. Known around town as strict but supportive, she'd spent years on the sidelines, cheering her players and pushing them to work harder. When Lauren showed her the texts, Kendra's reaction was immediate: anger, frustration, protective instinct. She told Lauren they'd figure it out. They'd go to the school. They'd talk to the police. And that's exactly what they did. The principal called meetings. Local police took reports. Parents of other kids were warned to keep an eye on their children's phones. Some suspected bullying. Others whispered about revenge, jealousy, or hidden drama among the teens. The finger-pointing started. Suspicions rise. One of the first names whispered was Chloe Wilson, a classmate and former friend of Lauren's. The texts mentioned her more than once, almost as if pushing Lauryn to believe Owen was cheating with her. When word got back to Chloe, she was furious. She swore she had nothing to do with it, but the damage was done. Rumors ran wild. Parents started to question each other. Teachers grew uneasy. Friend groups fractured. In a town where trust was everything, suspicion had suddenly become currency. But the texts didn't stop. If anything, they escalated. Whoever was behind them seemed to thrive on the chaos. Police involvement. By late 2020, the local police realized this wasn't just kids messing around. They tried tracing the numbers, but they all came back to internet-based apps, rerouted and disguised. The sender knew how to cover their tracks. The harassment continued into 2021. Lauryn's phone would ding during class, at the dinner table, even during basketball practice. Sometimes she wouldn't even look at it, too exhausted to read the latest jab. Owen, too, was unraveling. His friends started teasing, then accusing. His reputation was slipping. He and Lauryn fought constantly over the messages, even though both swore they were innocent. The harassment wasn't just breaking them down individually. It was breaking them apart. When the FBI analysts laid out the data, the room went quiet. The spoofed numbers weren't random. They were all tied back to the same source. And not just a location, but a specific device. A device registered to someone in Beale City. Someone everyone knew. The data pointed to none other than Kendra Licari, Lauryn's own mother. At first, investigators thought it had to be a mistake. Maybe her phone had been hacked. Maybe someone had spoofed her information, just as she had accused others of doing to her daughter. But the deeper they dug, the clearer it became. The thousands of messages, the taunts, the threats, the lies, they had all come from Kendra's accounts. Shockwaves. When police arrived at Kendra's home, she didn't resist. She sat down, folded her arms, and listened as the accusations were read aloud. The community was floored. This wasn't just a random mom. This was the basketball coach. A woman who had been trusted with other people's kids. A woman who had stood in front of meetings demanding answers about who was tormenting her daughter. And now, it turned out, she was the tormentor. Why? That was the question on everyone's mind. The motive nobody understood. At first, Kendra didn't give a clear answer. Some said she was trying to teach Lauryn a lesson. Others speculated she wanted control over her daughter's relationships. But when psychologists got involved, a darker picture emerged. Kendra had unresolved trauma of her own. She had reportedly been assaulted as a teen, something she never fully processed. Some experts suggested that in trying to control Lauryn's world, she was replaying her own pain in twisted ways. Still, for most people, that explanation wasn't enough. What kind of mother would do this to her own child? The arrest. In December 2021, Kendra was officially arrested and charged with multiple counts of stalking and harassment. Court documents revealed the scale of it all, more than 30,000 text messages and online communications sent over the span of 15 months. 30,000. The number was staggering. For Lauryn, it was like reliving every moment all over again, now knowing the person behind it was her mother. Courtroom drama. The trial in 2022 drew national attention. News trucks parked outside the courthouse. Reporters lined the sidewalk, calling it the high school catfish case. Inside, Lauryn sat quietly with her father. She didn't look at Kendra. Didn't wave. Didn't cry. Just stared ahead, numb. The prosecution laid out the evidence: digital footprints, app records, IP addresses, and the confession Kendra eventually gave when confronted. They painted her as a woman who had betrayed her own daughter in one of the cruelest ways imaginable. The defense tried to argue mental health struggles, unresolved trauma, and poor judgment. But even they couldn't deny the facts. When it came time to enter a plea, Kendra admitted guilt. The sentence. In 2023, Kendra Licari was sentenced to a term of 19 months to 5 years in prison. For some, the sentence felt too light. 30,000 messages, and that's it, one local parent told reporters. But others focused less on the punishment and more on the damage already done, not to the town, but to Lauryn herself. The aftermath for Lauryn. For Lauryn, the betrayal cut deeper than anything the texts had ever said. It wasn't just the words. It was the trust. The realization that her own mom had watched her unravel, night after night, and kept pressing send anyway. She moved in with her father full-time. Kendra lost custody. Friends rallied around Lauryn, but she couldn't escape the stares, the whispers, the headlines. She was no longer just Lauryn. She was the girl whose mom catfished her. Graduation came in May 2025. Lauryn walked across the stage in her blue gown, tassel swinging, her father cheering in the crowd. There were smiles, applause, and proud photos. But the shadow of the case still lingered. Kendra's release. In August 2024, after serving her time, Kendra was released on parole. She returned quietly, avoiding the spotlight. By then, Lauryn had made it clear she wanted no contact. Maybe one day, she told Netflix cameras in the documentary. But not now. Not yet. Trust, once broken that badly, isn't easily rebuilt. The community reacts. Beale City would never forget the case. Parents used it as a cautionary tale. Teachers whispered about it in staff rooms. Teens grew more cautious about online interactions, learning firsthand how dangerous digital anonymity could be. Some locals expressed sympathy for Kendra, saying she clearly needed mental health support. But most were simply stunned. She wasn't just any mom, one resident said. She was a coach. She told other kids to be strong, to work hard. And at the same time, she was tearing her own daughter down. None of us will ever understand that. Bigger questions. The case raised larger cultural questions too. How do we handle cyberbullying when it comes from inside a family? What responsibility do schools and communities have when digital harassment spills into real life? And how do children recover when the person meant to protect them turns out to be the one causing harm? For many Americans, this wasn't just a story about one mother and one daughter. It was a story about trust, technology, and the fragility of family bonds in the digital age. In August 2025, Netflix released Unknown Number, The High School Catfish. The documentary put Lauryn's story on screens across the country. Viewers were hooked from the first scene, the buzzing phone, the cruel messages, the unbearable twist. By the time the credits rolled, social media was flooded with reactions. How could a mother do this? This broke me. Protect your kids. Even from yourself. The documentary gave Lauryn a chance to tell her story on her own terms. Calm, mature, and unflinching, she described the pain but also her determination to move forward. Reflection. The high school catfish case isn't just a local scandal. It's a mirror, showing how technology can be twisted, how trust can be shattered, and how resilience can still grow from the wreckage. Lauryn Licari never asked to be at the center of a true crime story. She just wanted to be a teenager, living small-town life in Michigan. But instead, she became the face of one of the most shocking betrayals in recent memory. And yet, through it all, she walked across that graduation stage. She smiled in senior photos. She spoke with courage in front of cameras. The story isn't just about what her mom did. It's about what Lauryn survived. Closing hook. When your own mother becomes the monster in the story, where do you turn? For Lauryn, the answer is still unfolding. Healing takes time. Trust takes even longer. But if there's one thing this case proved, it's that even in the darkest corners of betrayal, the human spirit can still find a way forward. Because while Kendra's messages may have haunted her daughter for over a year, they don't get to define the rest of Lauryn's life.